Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 201. Holy crap. um, it's Wednesday, and we are back with Skep Talk. How are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing very fine. It was a late night last night, so I slept in this morning, as it were, and just kind of I'm still drinking coffee. It's 24 minutes until noon, and I'm just on like my second cup of coffee, so I'm very chilled this morning.
Oh,
And
I'm in need of a lot of coffee myself. Pincolo and I kind of had to divide and conquer the children last night when it came to bedtime. So, and
man.
poor Pincolo had to leave for work at like 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
So he went to bed super early with Alex, and I ended up, the only way I could get Logan to go to sleep was laying on the couch with him trapped between me and the back of the couch. Otherwise, he would just run like a madman. And so I fell asleep there until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved him and, of course, could not get back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I end up staying awake until 2:30.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I was in so much pain, I had to go and take care of that.
Yeah.
So while I was taking care of that, I finished Dragon's Dawn, one of the very few Pern books I actually haven't read. Okay. I tore through that book. I read it in a day.
Wow.
Well, that's what happens with audiobooks, because if I'm watching Alex like in the pool or something, but I'm not in the pool, I am listening, like I've got my phone up in the shade, yeah, and we're listening to the book, right?
Right.
And so I tore through that book, and then so I get up this morning. I think I've missed my mom because she's supposed to take Logan to daycare. Because I wake up, it's like after 8 o'clock. I'm like, oh, fuck. Right? And then I have an orientation lesson at 11.
Right.
And we are learning the new light rail transit system, or as I affectionately call it, the monorail. Because it's that crappy. It reminds me of the Springfield monorail. It really, really does. It's it's in a city that just should not have one. Like, it's just infrastructure just doesn't match for light rail transit.
When you say doesn't match, how do you mean?
Well, okay, so our light rail transit system, they had to completely redo all of the main roads in our city to put tracks in. So they've spent 10 years ripping up our streets to lay track. Yeah. And then they the trains kept being delayed because Bombardier kept delaying the production of them for some reason. And then it took them an extra almost 2 years for the trains and their software to start, mapping and learning the routes. Then they start changing bus routes to match the trains.
Well, sure.
They've taken away some of the bus routes that have been established for decades.
But government is doing this efficiently.
Oh, very efficiently.
Like they do the healthcare, of course.
Yes. So they rolled it all out in June, the last week of June. And their attempts to make it accessible are almost laughable. Okay. And anytime the CNIB or like the Canadian National Institute for the Blind or any other organization, say for people in wheelchairs, any recommendations that they've made, they get the ever classic, oh, we'll definitely take that under advisement,
We'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, it's great. So right now, now every single route that I've ever known is changed. Every route in my city. I am no longer able, and because of the way the trains are, in some of the stops along the routes, not at the end terminals, are in the middle of the road. They've made islands and stuff for these platforms.
Oh God!
So I can't.
Not accessible.
No, it's not. I can't. I used to be able to teach myself bus routes.
You can't do that anymore.
I can't teach myself a light rail transit route. I'll get killed.
Or you'll just be constantly dependent on people to help you out.
Yeah.
And that's just being at the mercy. That's not good. That's not a good thing at all.
And this morning, I discovered we were learning the first leg of relearning the route to Logan's daycare. And we've discovered that not all the doors on the trains open automatically, so I have to find the train with my cane, find the door, and push a little button on the outside of the door to make it open.
That has an acoustic cue though on it, right?
No, it beeps when the door opens, but
only after you found it. So it's a beep of celebration after you found the hidden button. I see.
Correct.
And
it's about the size of
boggles.
It's about the size of a silver dollar, and it is at, I'd say, hip height on the door.
Of course.
Because that's a perfect place for a button.
But the height challenged. It has to be accessible to everybody. And geez. And yet, if you were giving this testimony in front of a special select committee in your Congress or Parliament or whatever the hell they have in Canada, and the prince, are they princes who serve in your House of Lords or whatever, that he would be asking you, now, Mrs. Press, why can't you use the Braille Maps? I assume there are Braille Maps of these stations.
Nope.
Because blind people use Braille, and I know that, and so the maps must be in Braille, right? I don't know how a Braille map would work, but blind people must know that, right?
Yeah. A Braille map, that
it's kind of fun to go there, isn't it?
It is.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh me.
I'm sorry, chat. I've been railing about my city and haven't even acknowledged you.
We haven't said hello to chat. Do you mind, since this is the day that I visit, do you mind if I run through and say hello to?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Moonshock was actually first in our chat, and evidently caught it just after you put the reminder up.
Yeah.
And, he says, "Hi, Blind Press and Skep Talk. I'm doing chemotherapy again today and won't be able to make your stream. I just wanted to give you both my best wishes. Take care, everyone." And we thank you, Moonshock. Best of luck, bud.
Yes.
Let us know how it's going. Come on back. Be safe. And Rolling Bear is there. Wikipedia snippet weighed in. And
RVA is here.
Mad Tanuki and RVA. Yep. Green Thunder and Irate Prostate is in the house. Nice to see you. Martin is here. Martin H is here. Seamus is there. So is Green Thunder.
Yep.
Did I say Green Thunder already? I may have.
Nope, you did not.
Gunfox. Gunny. Hey, bud. And Cynical Lindsay. Maniac Man. Got a good crowd today. It's just nice to see everybody. Thank you for coming and sharing your morning with us and letting us share our morning with you. It's been an interesting and kind of like the Chinese say, "May you be cursed to live in interesting times."
Yeah.
Kind of a sad couple of days for me personally and Texans generally, because a couple of great Texans have passed on after very full and wonderful and happy lives. So it's kind of thinking more in terms of celebrating the great lives that they lived.
Now Ross Perot is one. Who's the other?
Ross Perot is one. The other one I'm going to be a little bit cagey about, because there's an interesting tie-in that people may not know about that I'm going to have a little bit of fun with. Talk about Ross Perot first. Ross Perot was a graduate of the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis in Maryland, and was built EDS. He the electronic data systems, and really brought the mini computer to the forefront in the 60s and 70s, and became a billionaire in the process. Really, you want to look at the man who computerized big business. That was the guy who did it, who originally did it before the advent of the microprocessor and the revolution that happened after that. So another interesting thing about Ross Perot, in 1979, he was having trouble with the Iranian government, and two of his employees at EDS were taken hostage. This is how the Iranians conducted negotiations. They were taken hostage and thrown in jail. They were thrown in jail by the Iranian government. And this was, at about the time of the Iranian Revolution and so forth. And Ross Perot put together a team of like Green Berets, basically, and some really tough hombres, guys who knew how to bust guys out of jail. Flew them to Iran, busted them out of jail, and in a wild escape, went overland and got them through into Turkey and then back to the United States. And he was there. He was on the mission himself. He was not going to send other people to do that. That's what a wild man he was. Can you imagine someone like Donald Trump doing that? So that's the caliber of man that Ross Perot was. Ross Perot's sister was my mother's golfing partner for 20 years.
Oh, cool.
Was always over at the house, and Ross would occasionally drop by. And one time, it was right after I had done my Ross Perot imitation for his sister. And my mom and his sister were still laughing about it. And Ross Perot was there to pick up his sister. And she told me, do that imitation for Ross. So I said, it's easy. Say it, and a 6-year-old can understand it. And he just laughed. He said, that does sound like me.
That's amazing.
He clapped me on the back, and it was just kind of one of those, high points in my life I'll never forget. So anyway, fair winds following seas. Ross Perot has passed on. The other person is somebody people may not have known as well, but he was an Emmy-winning actor by the name of Rip Torn. Now, he I remember my favorite. He was in Dodgeball. He was the professor. He was the producer on the Larry Sanders Show, which was absolutely my favorite role for him. Although there were many roles, he just play. He was so good at playing this, alarming and sociopathic type funny guy that he just had that character down perfectly. He was just a marvelous character actor. And I always, you just wanted more. Whenever he was on the screen, you wanted him to have more screen time because he was just so entertaining. But the interesting thing about him, he was a Texan, came from Temple. He was born about 7 years after my mother was born.
Cool.
And he was born to an agriculturalist, a locally famous agriculturalist named Tiger Torn.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, well, his real name was like Ralph or something, but everybody called him Tiger.
Tiger Torn. Yeah.
Tiger Torn, and Tiger Torn was the guy who he was big into popularizing black-eyed peas. Black-eyed peas were a fairly recent hybrid that had been developed, and he was the one who said that it was good luck to eat black-eyed peas at New Year's. You'd have good luck for the next year. And he made that a thing in Texas, and that spread all over the southern United States. And that still is a tradition down here that every New Year's Day, you always have black-eyed peas at lunch.
Interesting.
And that came from Tiger Torn, Rip Torn's father.
And Rip is the one that...
And Rip Torn is the one who passed away the other day.
Now, he was in Men in Black, right? He played...
Yes, he was in Men in Black.
He? Why is my phone ringing? Go away.
Someone's trying to get a hold of you, probably.
It's a toll-free number that I don't recognize, so they can fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. It might be a Nigerian prince just trying to get at that $7 billion they have.
Excuse me, Mrs. Press. We need your help to get our money.
Send us a check for $1,468.20. It must be that amount exactly. So, but here's another interesting thing about Rip Torn. He has another interesting thing going on, and that is that his mother had a younger brother who married a lady, and they had a daughter named Mary Elizabeth, who grew up to be an actress. Now, of course, his name was different, being on the maternal side. His last name was Spacek.
You okay?
I'm gagging on my coffee. Last name was Spacek, and Mary Elizabeth Spacek went by the name Sissy. And that was Sissy Spacek, was actually, cousin to Rip Torn. Was first
Every
cousin.
time you say Spacek, I think of SpaceX.
Yeah, SpaceX. Okay. Have you ever heard of Sissy Spacek? Do you?
I have
know
not.
Who that is?
Actually, no.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Very famous, very famous American actress, but before your time.
Okay.
Back in the 90s.
Was she a movie or TV person?
Movie. She's a movie actress. Yeah, she's. Let's see, what might you have seen her in? Let's get a. And she's born on Christmas, 1949.
Carrie. Oh, she was in Carrie. This was it. The
old one, the first one.
Carrie.
The first Carrie. She was the first Carrie.
Okay. Yeah, I know who she is.
And
thank you, Irate.
trust to Irate. He has all this, movie and I
have a feeling I would lose to him at Trivial Pursuit.
I would lose to him in that category. I put myself up against anybody else in any other category, but against him in that he would smoke me.
Oh, I suck at the paint questions. Oh my God.
Really?
I can. The entertainment questions, I'm terrible at, because the game that I play is the original one.
Yes.
Because the 90s Trivial Pursuit, nobody can win that. They ask the most obscure questions. And like my mother has played it, and like a few of her friends have played it. My uncles have played it. And they were all in their 30s in the 90s. And they're like, why do we not remember any of this happening? What the hell why? Are they going
Well,
with the most obscure trivia possible?
exactly. Yeah, and you always feel like, should I know this?
Yeah.
Interesting trivia thing about Sissy Spacek that I'll bet Irate Prostate doesn't know is that she helped finance the movie Eraserhead in
Oh, really?
1977 with the money she made from Carrie. That's a true story. That's
I have yet to
absolutely
watch
true story.
Eraserhead.
No, you don't wanna watch Eraserhead. You stop that right now. You don't need to watch that. Nope, 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 nope. You have enough going on in your life. You don't need that nightmare going around in your head.
I've actually been told people have either said you really have to watch it, or they've said
No.
that exact thing that you've
Those
just
those
said.
people don't love you. To take it from someone who loves you, you're not watching Eraserhead. Not if you no, mm-mm. I wish
Uh,
I wish I could unsee it. I honestly do.
Irate says, "Wow, I did not know that." So yeah,
Yep, there you go. So,
Jacob's
and she
Ladder
was
is another one
the
that people want
brain
me.
in, The Man with Two Brains with Steve Martin. She was actually
Really?
the brain. Mhm. She's really, a talented, uh, actress who can play a wide-ranging bunch of, parts.
I used to
She's,
wish I was Carrie when I was being bullied in high
well,
school.
she also narrated the audiobook of the original Carrie novel by Stephen
Ooh,
King.
I'll have to look
And
that up.
yeah, I was gonna say you might really enjoy that. And she also narrated To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee.
Really?
Yes, indeed. And I've actually heard that. I haven't heard the whole thing, but I've heard uh, a significant amount, like 20 pages of it, and
Yeah,
she's so listenable. Oh my God, you could just like butter.
I
Anyway,
loved that book.
very wonderful
It was
stuff.
a great
And
book.
yeah, she's from Quitman, Texas.
If they don't make Alex and Logan read that in high school, I'm gonna make them read it.
And but anyway, she is cousin to Rip Torn.
That is
So
pretty cool.
there you go. Um, that's
Oh,
so
Lindsay says The Man with Two Brains is my favorite Steve Martin movie.
it's a good one. It certainly is. Um, I my favorite Steve Martin movie is The Life of Brian.
Sorry?
My favorite Steve Martin movie is The Life of Brian.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah. The Life of Brian is so good that it crowds out all of Steve Martin's movies and takes over his slot.
Okay.
There you go.
That's why I was like, "Wait a minute, is
That's
there
how
some crazy cameo that I don't know about?"
no, 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 no.
You were just
That's
making a
just how much I like Monty Python.
yeah.
And I like Steve Martin. I think he's more talented than he is funny. He's
Did you know
moderately
he made
funny.
me like the banjo?
Pardon me?
Did you know he made me like the banjo?
No, I did not
I
know.
used to hate the banjo, and then my dad played
Girl,
me I didn't like the way it sounded, 'cause all the banjo
what?
music that I heard was just, like, simple, I guess, I don't know, but when I heard Steve Martin, because my dad played me his double-sided, record,
Yes.
I think King Tut was on it, and there was a couple of other
He
songs.
plays it in a classical banjo style. I
Yeah,
mean, that is, he's not like a Johnny Hartford type banjo player. He plays in the, uh, uh, Earl Scruggs
yeah.
style of banjo playing with, finger and thumb pick and yeah, triple rolls in the right hand. Um,
And
I
from
mean,
then on, when I
you
heard
can't get any more classical than what he does.
yeah, after I heard him playing, I was like, "That's actually a really cool sounding instrument." I like the
He's a
banjo.
good banjo player. He's not great, but he's good. He's actually quite good banjo player, uh, to where he could play in a band.
And you know what makes him good is that he enjoys it, and you can
Yes,
tell he enjoys it.
he loves playing the band. Yeah, it's when I first started playing the banjo in 1967, and I remember I had this book, How to Play the 5-String Banjo by Pete Seeger. And one of the little cartoons was a Charles Schultz cartoon, and Snoopy was playing the banjo and said, it's impossible to play the banjo and not smile. And you're right. It's a happy instrument, and it's fun to play. It's just ripping fun to play. And the other thing about playing the banjo is that for a beginner, for the beginning part, it's much easier to learn than the guitar. Much, much easier to learn.
Really?
Guitar. Yes, it is. And people think, oh, all those notes, it's very scary. No, that comes later. The speed comes later. But the initial part, making the chords, and the first part, you get a lot of sonic payoff. You get a lot of sound payoff without a lot of work. And it's a good instrument to attract someone with a knack for playing stringed instruments into playing stringed instruments. I actually played it before. I played it for 2 years before. No, I played it for a year before I played the guitar, before I picked up a guitar for the first time. Anyway, I don't mean to talk about that, but there you go. Anyway, couple of great Texans, finishing out their fine lives and leaving a lot of happy memories.
Did I enjoy the banjo in Deliverance? No, that's actually one of the reasons why I didn't like the banjo.
I was debating whether or not to bring that up. Since you brought that up, people don't get that scene in Deliverance, because what's going on in there is the banjo player is filled with resentment, and he's playing against the guy who's playing the guitar. He resents him because the guy from who's playing the guitar, he thinks, hey, I'm really getting down with the folks here, and really looking down on them. And those people are very introverted. They're very into themselves, and they don't like outsiders.
Yeah.
And so that the banjo player was, he was expressing resentment in playing the banjo. If you read the book, it's a little bit more apparent. And Deliverance, by the way, is a book worth reading.
I actually didn't realize it was a book.
Yep.
That is cool. There's so many things that I didn't know were books.
Absolutely. It's like those Braille Maps of the... Sorry, I just hung up on that. Anyway, let's see.
I'm as good as you, city man.
Yeah, exactly.
Better.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. That was a...
Seamus says I play mandolin, banjo, and guitar.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Seamus, do you play the 5-string or do you play the 4-string banjo, or both? And if you play the 4-string banjo, do you tune it like a mando? I'm just curious. See if he answers it. But I don't. I mess with the mandolin. I'm serious about the banjo and guitar. Yeah. But and have gotten fairly serious about the ukulele, oddly enough. And people
that's
think
another fun sounding instrument.
It is. It's hard to play well. It's you make the chords. There's a little bit of technique involved that you have to unlearn some stuff from the guitar. Otherwise, I was reading a book about playing the ukulele. It says, and one of the rules that it has is say, don't be a guitarist on the ukulele. Don't play the ukulele like a guitar. And it called me out. I was doing all the stuff wrong, and made me a better uke player. But Lindsay says she used to play the violin, and we could get a bluegrass band. Hell yeah. I've played in any number of bluegrass bands. Made a decent amount of money in folk and bluegrass bands. People like those bands for weddings and stuff, parties and things like that. Background music.
Yeah,
you can just you're playing pretty, music. I've actually made
And
more money
danceable
doing that
music.
than I have playing rock and roll guitar.
You're playing danceable music when you're playing like bluegrass and like that's stuff you want to dance to, right? You know, like when you're listening to a fiddle player or like any kind of fiddle player, whether it be, you know, from the southern states or even the Highland, like the Scottish Highland type fiddling. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a band called Lahey that is great. It's a fiddle. There's two fiddlers, I think, a piano player, and bass, drum, and guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And they play mostly Celtic stuff, but they have done a few covers. But there's no singing. It's all just instrumental stuff. And it's amazing. I can't remember if they're from Scotland originally
What's the name of
or if they're Nova Scotian. Lahey. I can't remember how to spell
Lahey?
it though. Yeah.
Lahey. Okay. I love Celtic bands, especially if they have a banjo. If they have a banjo and an accordion, I'm there. I love that sound, and there's so many beautiful ballads and songs, and instrumentals and actual songs that are it's all worth listening to. Anyway, there's a lot of beautiful music out there.
There is.
I was trying to look up Lahey, see if I could find who they are. I want to call out a group. What are they called? They're called the Lake Street something or other. And there's one song by them. They're kind of a bar band.
Okay.
With they have a female bass player who plays upright bass, and she is probably by far the best instrumentalist in the group. I mean, she is international uh, studio quality, studio musician quality,
Right.
and it's an interesting thing to build your band around. They also and they have a female lead singer. Her name is, I think, Rachel Price, and they are wonderful to listen to. I'm trying to that Lake Street something or other, and I'm trying to think of what Lake Street Dive. That's the name of them. It's just Lake Street Dive, Dive. And
Okay.
actually, they do a cover of the song Lola, and I'm going to put that in chat just for fun, so people can listen to them. I'm not, I don't shill for this band or anything like that, but I guess I'm doing that now.
I wish I could remember how to spell Lahey. It's definitely like it would definitely be like a Celtic. Damn, I haven't listened to Lahey in so long. Now I want
And now
to.
I'm going back to see if I can find Lahey band. Lahey band. Lahey Band is the name of a Canadian folk music group. The 8 band members, all from the Lahey family, hence the name, of 11 siblings, are all from Lakefield, Ontario, and have been touring Canada and internationally since
They're
the early
Ontarian? I've always thought they were Easterners, like Nova Scotians.
Well,
Holy
Ontario
shit.
is east.
No, it's not. Not in Canada terms.
It's east of what's that one on the left? Is that Vancouver?
Well, yeah,
It's
it's
east of
east
that,
of that,
right?
but
Yeah.
it's
So this,
technically, in Canadian terms, it's middle.
so is it east of Hawaii? I'm just saying. Let's see. Let's see what we can find about them. And I will put this. They have a Wikipedia article. They're quite substantial.
They are amazing
I am going to
musicians.
check these guys out. I'm going to put this in chat real quick. Lahey coming at you, Lahey. And I mean, it's just, wikipedia.org/wiki/Lahey, Leaha. And Lindsay says, well, Ontario borders Michigan, so they could technically be considered Midwest. Okay. Michigan is east of Hawaii, right?
Right.
In a way. Of course, in a way, it's kind of west of Hawaii. Wow, it's both.
What a mindfuck.
I know. It's like the earth is, wait a minute, round, mind blown.
I play air drums really well, says Irate Prostate. Hi, Maddie.
Maddie joins us. My dining companion of the other evening. Hi, Maddie. Good to see you. We had fun with Sage Cronsel, by the way, the other night. Tim Cronsel and his father were in town, and Maddie and Ronan and I drove up from Dallas to meet them in McKinney, Texas, about half an hour out, or about 20 minutes out of town, to the north toward Canada, and met them for dinner.
Cool.
Big fun. Do you know who Tim Cronsel is?
I've heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've heard. Like, he's a YouTuber too, right?
Yeah, he's a YouTuber. He's big friends with Jeff Holiday, among other people. Just to somebody who you have a 1 degree of separation from. Yeah. So he streams with Jeff Holiday periodically, and I told him about you, and he expressed some interest in your channel and said he's going to check your channel out.
Oh, cool. So, well, thank you.
At any rate, yeah, I was shilling you even at the table, but that was fun. But anyway, it's good to see you, Maddie. JTR, the serial killers here. I don't remember saying hello to him.
No, I think he popped in recently.
Yeah. All right.
So have you seen anything interesting in the news lately?
Well,
I know Eric Swallowwell is gone from the
yes, which will change the picture exactly, not at all. Since he was drawing, depending on what poll you looked at, between 1% and 2% of the I mean, he wasn't even drawing people in his area. He wasn't even polling well in the area where he was from. There's usually a kind of a favorite son effect that you poll well in the area that you come from, and he was like polling 1% and 3% in his hometown.
God damn.
I know.
That is sad.
It's like God saying, "Don't run, just give it up."
Just stop.
So, and so in that, his big thing was, I'm going to take all your guns away. All your guns belong to me. An interesting thing is beginning to happen with Biden out in front, and then 3 or 4 of them all piled in with about 15% each. And that's actually kind of a big problem for Biden, because what it means is that those people are far to the left of Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Of what Biden is perceived to be.
Biden is probably the only one that could possibly make any sense.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, he's the only one. Buttigieg is a sounds normal and everything else, but if you look at his policy prescriptions, they're communistic. They're not even socialistic. They're communistic. I mean, he talks about the means of production being firmly in control by the state, for the good of the people, right? And Biden at least is an unalloyed capitalist. I mean, he would not. He would be a Jimmy Carter type of president, which would be bad, but it wouldn't be a disaster.
Yes.
And as opposed to somebody like Kamala Harris or Bernie Sanders, who, if they get in, you're going to have a real lean against a Congress toward communism and socialism. And eventually, what will happen is the congressmen and senators are not good at resisting what presidents want. Presidents are very good at resisting what Congress wants. Okay. But it doesn't work the other way because it's too easy to buy congressmen and senators off one by one. Do you remember something called the Cornhusker kickback? Do you remember that term? The Cornhusker kickback went like this. Basically, there was a senator from Nebraska, which is famous for growing corn, and of course the football team were called the Cornhuskers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
What a team name.
Yeah, I know. Just let it lie. But and so his was the pivotal vote in getting Obamacare through. Turned out to be, and so they made him. They basically promised him billions and billions, but that's with a B, of dollars for his state in infrastructure and all kinds of just boondoggles and bonbons that no other state was going to get because his vote was so important to getting Obamacare through. Wow. And that technique can be applied to individual congressmen and senators. That technique cannot be applied to the president. The president can sit there and resist and just say, fuck off, and veto you till the cows come home. Yep. And as long as he has just even a decent sized plurality or a decent size group of people, doesn't even have to be a plurality, just a group of people that's big enough to sustain his vetoes, he can be in a position of real power. And with Obama's plentiful examples of governing by executive order, that path is well trodden now.
Yep.
And so it's open to for everybody to do it.
Lots of precedents been set.
Exactly. So there have been some very negative precedents been set. The deal with getting rid of the requirement for 2/3 to override certain types of votes in Congress, they some of the wiser Democrats said we shouldn't do this, even though it's politically convenient and it's a good way to get at the Republicans. Boy, now it's coming back to haunt them like you can't even believe. They can't get anything through. And they're whining and screaming, and there is great gnashing of teeth. And they're being reminded of exactly what Obama said: elections have consequences. Yep. And so does precedent. So does decisions. So do getting rid of laws that were passed with real wisdom behind them. Conservatism is wise sometimes for a reason. It's worth thinking twice before you get rid of a law that may be inconvenient right now, but actually serves the purpose of good governance. But no, the Democrats said nope. They got rid of it willy-nilly, and now we have what amounts to an imperial-style government where the executive has way too much power, and the majority party in Congress has way too much power. And the only good thing about it is obstructionists in the Congress can have a lot of power, and it's really the ones who are keeping the door shut against the vicissitudes of bad governance are the Republicans in the Senate right now. Those are the heroes right now who are keeping really bad things and kept bad things from happening in the last part of the Obama administration. So anyway, yeah, there's a ton of bad government just waiting for a place to happen.
Oh, Lindsay says something interesting. She says, the only sane Democrat running is Tulsi Gabbard, in my humble opinion. I disagree with her on most of her domestic policies, but I'm with her on her foreign policy.
I think Lindsay's right on the money. I actually think that she makes some sense on foreign policy. It's not hard. That said, it's not hard to make good sense on foreign policy. Let's not get into wars. Let's not spend our blood and treasure, defending this group of terrorists against that group of terrorists. Let them kill each other for a while, and let's see what settles out. Okay. Defend Israel, yes, but everybody else, no. Basically, fuck off, and let's not invest the blood and treasure.
And honestly, Israel's doing a very, very good job of defending itself.
Well, it's doing a very good job of defending itself because we have
not
put them. Well, we've put them in the position of being able to do that by selling them the materials that they need to make that happen. We sold them a bunch of F-15s that made them the air superiority power in the region. I mean, they simply, we have an Air Force and you don't. And if you want to see that you don't have an Air Force, put your planes in the air. It's I've looked into the details of how F-15s kill other planes. It's not a fair fight. It's not. It's not like one big fighter and one small fighter. It's like a giant transformer robot and a Chihuahua dog. It's just not fair.
That is the strangest image I've ever.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's just so I would agree with you that Tulsi Gabbard probably makes more sense than most of them. The ones that you got to really watch out for are the Democrats of the Hillary Clinton stripe, who are just itching to show how much muscle, how woke and right they are internationally by plunging us into war. And that neocon attitude, and it's strange to apply that to somebody like Hillary Clinton, but boy, that warlike impulse to fix things internationally by showing how tough you are it's insane. It's just insane. It's very naive. And so let's see. What's Lindsay saying? Yeah, and Lindsay says later on basically that domestic policy is more important than international policy, and right now that's true.
Yeah.
In World War II, international policy was more important than domestic policy. Right now, domestic policy is more important than international policy. In spite of everything that's happening, most of what's going on out there is spy versus spy type stuff. It's stuff that we can spend a bunch of money getting involved, but we won't have any net gain out of it, as far as I can tell. I can have my mind changed, but I don't see anything out of there that's true. And she says, I don't know what's scarier, the neocon establishment of the Democratic Party or the hard left radicals like AOC. It perfectly said. They both scare the crap out of me. They both scare the crap out of me. And they're both are irresponsible. Both are thoughtless. Both are ruled by emotion over reason. And both are potentially very destructive.
Oh, they are.
Leave a
Like,
lot of blood and treasure out, through the inefficiencies of
did,
the hard left.
did you see the people laughing at the fact that lightning struck near the Capitol Mall during the 4th of July speech and they had to move everybody?
Yes.
They were like, oh, ha, 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 too bad nobody got hit by lightning. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you people?
They live in a cartoon world. They have no moral compass at all. They have no empathy for anyone who and people think, well, they have empathy for people who think like they do. They actually don't.
No.
They're so selfish. They really only think about themselves. They glom together with people who think like they do, and they purity test each other in kind of this. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that.
We both had phone ringing incidents.
Yes, we did. Sorry about that. I didn't turn my phone off. I usually turn it down. But anyway, yeah, Irate Prostate says Wiccans took credit for the storm. And Lindsay says, yet we're the ones who are not empathetic in their eyes, right? We're the hard asses, the ones who can't feel for other people. They're the ones who have the real feels, the ones who really care, unless their skin is white, or unless they're, I just, unless they, or if their skin is black, but they think like your boy Pat, then they're evil. They lose that. They lose the right to.
They're race traitors.
Not only do they lose the right to empathy, here's another interesting thing about the left, and it's one of the things that really bothers me, and that is that they.
Uh-oh. Is it an emergency?
Yeah, I don't understand why this is going on. But
well, we've only got about 3 or 4 minutes left.
I powered off my phone. I don't know why that was happening, but
no worries.
Some very I don't get a lot of calls. When you're retired, you find out that they treat you like you've died, and they stop calling. But even your children, that takes a little getting used to. It's okay. It's not that they don't love me. It's just they have important.
They're busy.
Yeah, they're busy, and they have lives of their own. That's actually rewarding. That's the way I raised them. I raised them to be independent, to go out. My kids are not kids who stay at home, live under the roof. My kids were like 17 and 364 days. 18, I'm gone. Boom. Mm-hmm. Mike was, I'm in the Marine Corps. Bye.
I was mad that I had to stay with mom until my wisdom teeth were out. I was like, fuck.
Yep. It was, yeah, you have that independent thing running in you where you want to go out and do your thing and live your life. And that was what I inculcated in my children and my ex-wife. She was the same way. We both are very independent cusses.
Yeah.
And no surprise, we brewed up 2 very non-millennial children. I'm happy that they're that way. And if my daughter only calls me once every couple of months, even though she only lives 10 miles away from me, it doesn't bother me at all, because she knows she can call anytime and come over anytime.
I ran into some extremely millennial children today.
How tell us about this encounter.
So we had been doing, like I said, learning how to get to the train platform at the mall where I'd be catching the train. And we went to grab something to eat afterwards. And there was apparently a day camp at the mall. My instructor told me she saw everybody wearing the same shirt. So it was like a group of kids, like either a day camp or, something. And they were at least, 11, 12 years old. They saw me coming They walked right into me. And my cane hit one of them in the foot, and they all started yelling. Like they just started yelling. They didn't yell they were just like, "Oh man, what the hell?" Like, just all yelling to each other, like. And I look back at them, and I said loud enough for them to hear. I go, "Wow, you guys are awesome."
Oh, wow.
And there was no counselor in sight. There was no like chaperone or anything. Like, they were clearly like a group together, wearing the same color shirt, same color backpacks. There was a group of like there was a few groups, separate groups, all wearing the same color, doing different things, and so it was clear that there was some sort of free time happening.
Yeah.
But there was no adult in sight. It's just
Interesting. So the hive mind was unsupervised.
the hive mind was on, and we were looking because it was bad enough that both of us were like, okay, where is somebody that we can talk to? And there was no one. I'm like, this is amazing. And she told me that yesterday she was at a camp for a different student, trying to get him oriented so that when he attends for his week that he knows where he's going. And the director advised her that the kids had 2 hours of free unsupervised play. The camp's at a waterfront. This kid is 7 and legally blind, and the camp director doesn't want him using his cane.
What?
Yeah.
Words fail me.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
There are some crazy, like half of the stories that I could tell that she tells me, I don't, because I don't want her to get in trouble for telling me. Right? But, there are some just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you reading what Pink Owl's putting in chat?
No, I didn't see what he said.
Nothing like a tire blowout 60 miles from home 4 hours before the scheduled appointment. Fuck. And he says, I got pushed to push my tires. Now I got to pay twice as much what I was going to pay.
Honey, are you okay?
It looks like he's okay. He's complaining bitterly, so I would say that he's probably...
That's probably why he called. And I couldn't get my phone to... My screen was doing something stupid, and I couldn't get the accept button to work.
No worries. Well, you're going to get off here in just a minute, and you can give him a call back, and yeah, you can communicate with him that way.
Now I've got images of like his car fucking spinning. I know that obviously probably that didn't happen because he would have said.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I hate that.
And Pink House says, "Do not end the fucking stream. Relax." Well,
okay.
I'm gonna have to pee pretty soon. I can't relax that much.
I'm fine, just annoyed to fuck. Okay.
All right. And
well, he knows that I worry about him.
Well,
when stuff like this is going on, or in the winter time, because it's not his driving I worry about. It's everyone else's dumbass driving in the winter that I worry about.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's fucking ridiculous.
He's more angry at the broker. I don't know what that means, but
Oh, I know what that means.
okay.
He's angry at his broker than
the guy who gives him jobs.
The guy who gives him jobs and
gotcha.
And doesn't let him take like an hour and get his fucking tires done.
There's no one else that can do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he hears. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
I need you.
Yeah. Well, that's what Pink Hal is pointing out in chat is exactly that. And so anyway, that's the
at least you're okay.
Yeah. And you know, that's the key. If it's not a sickness in the family, it's small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah, and all you have to do is be reminded of that, and life will remind you of it from time to time. Wikipedia snip says, "Okay, I was thinking, what's a stockbroker? What, a stockbroker?"
No.
Yeah.
But I actually should end the stream, guys, because it's been an hour and I need to go play with Alex again.
The child.
The child needs me.
Yeah.
He wants to go swimming in his pool. And I kind of want to go swimming in his pool.
Well, as I always say, cherish every day of that. It's gone so fast, and it's a memory, and you'll have those memories for years. And they're wonderful memories, but they're bittersweet in a way because you will miss those kids for the rest of your life when they move out. Yeah. You really do. Those beautiful, sweet kids.
And he was so good this morning. He went with us on the lesson.
Really?
And he was so good.
Yeah.
He's always good at traveling with me, though. He understands that I have to use my cane, and he doesn't when he was younger, he used to try and help me use my cane, but he doesn't do that anymore.
Well, for those of you who just can't get enough of Blind and Skep, we're going to take a 10-hour break.
Yes.
And come back to you on Minions of the Zoo channel tonight, because you will be there. Am I right?
Yeah.
And you're planning to be?
Yes, I am.
And Prospero will be there. And those are the only confirmed participants, I think, so far. I have to check Discord. But we're gonna have a big time tonight, and please come join us. We always, I think the Wednesday show is just a jolly show.
I agree.
We usually manage to put kind of a fun panel together, and chat is always hilarious. Chat is just a scream.
Yeah.
So please come and join us. We're going to have a good time. I'm also going to shill for Roaming Millennial. I'm a wrench on Roaming Millennial's channel, and when she does the Blaze TV segments on Wednesday afternoons, and that's kind of a fun chat to be in, even though it's fast moving. There's it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But we get raided by the porn bots, and you can see Stan and Mashisu and I go into town trying to rip out the people who are trying to disrupt the stream. You have never seen three people wield the band hammer like we do. So, but not just that. Roaming Millennial is great fun, and she and Liam are just very entertaining to watch. So come and join us on Roaming Millennial's channel. She'll publicize the heck out of it, but as to the exact time and so forth, I don't want to get it wrong. And so just look on her channel if you have an interest. And she always has some interesting material to go over in her inimitable fashion. And she's a buddy of mine, and I want to show for her.
And tomorrow I will be back at 12. My lesson is after the stream tomorrow. So I will be at the normal time, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. We'll have some fun. I still don't have a guest for Friday. I'm looking. It's harder for me to book guests in the summer because I'm not sure what I'm doing with Alex and all that stuff. But I will let you guys know. And on like Skep said, don't forget to come check us out tonight on Minions. The link is for the channels in the description. And I hope everyone had a great day today and has a good rest of their day. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We sure did. We always enjoy putting it on for you.
Blind did too. I know.
And I really hope you guys will come back tomorrow and hang out with me. On that note, everybody, I will see everyone later. Have a good one, everyone.
We'll see everybody. Bye-bye.